Tom Brady takes the snap. Looking towards his left, he'd float the ball like a butterfly, and the Dolphins would get stung by AB. Touchdown, Patriots. One quick look at those Antonio Brown highlights. Wow, all y'all are some haters, man. Y'all all some haters. Y'all all want to hate on me because I'm a black man winning. Keep your emotions off the internet. Don't you ever talk about me. It don't matter if I say I don't want to play in the NFL, but now 4 days later I kind of still want to play. It don't matter if I never take responsibility for my actions. It don't matter if I only run clown post routes. It don't matter. I'm Antonio Brown. You can't talk about me. I don't got no ego. Y'all just some haters, man. Y'all some haters.
It's like one of those things where it's the ego. I don't have an ego because, like, bro, I'm just trying to win.
When will the lies end?
Enough from the clown.
So the time is ticking, brother. There will be no erections in your future. I hope your children's never stop having toothache. They're innocent. They're just kids. They're offsprings of AB so they can be future ABs. I want this man's life ruined. You don't get to win. You should never win. Him, Antonio Brown, gets to hoist the Lombardi after 10 years when we haven't even been there. This is ridiculous. I can't deal with this. You kidding me? They say the ocean. They say the ocean has the most amount of salt. I beg to differ. Pittsburgh will have the most amount of salt because Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown got to compete for a Lombardi, and the worst one won. We talk about the greater of two evils. We talk about the less of two evils. The more evil person won. The more evil person won. Antonio Brown shouldn't be allowed to win Super Bowl.
3rd and 5 for the Patriots. Tom Brady. He'd find Rob Gronkowski, who tells Eric Berry, hold my Nuggets. A third consecutive third down situation for the Chiefs. Tom Brady connects with Rob Gronkowski. The Chiefs can't get off the field on third down appearance. Do you understand? He has 2 more Super Bowl rings than any player who has ever played in the history of the game, and he is still favored to win the next Super Bowl? This doesn't make sense. He is a walking cheat code. Tom Brady is the epitome of the American dream. The epitome of an American dream. You won championships in high school. You went on to college. You won a national championship at Michigan. You came to the National Football League. You weren't, the guy straight out the gate. You were a 6th-round pick, number 199. Worked his way to the top.
VonAllen Sports.
This is Patriots linebacker, Super Bowl 49 champ, Darius Fleming, and you're watching VonAllen Sports. Real and honest NFL analysis. Subscribe now. Join the empire. VonAllen Sports, let's go!
VonAllen Sports.
Oh man. So let's go, guys. How are y'all doing? This is a special Wednesday night edition of VAS Live. And in just a moment, I'm going to introduce you to my newest guest, but I know most of you guys probably know who he is already. In fact, Ryan Dyer already sent a super chat, which was the first line of my script. So thanks, Ryan. So you already ruined my first line. So I'm actually going to read off your super chat, but I really appreciate that. Thank you guys for being here. And, This ought to be a lot of fun. Just to let you know, he is a Steelers fan, so don't get too crazy, But actually, that's fine. I'm sure he can deal with that. But let's see. Let's get this super chat up real quick. Ryan Dyer sends a $5 super chat. He says, welcome to the diligent, vigilant, sagacious, conscientious, and analytical, methodical individual, the chiseled Adonis. Man, I cannot do it as good as you. Do you have that memorized?
Would you like me to do it?
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
So if you guys are unfamiliar, allow me to get you familiar. I am the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis, here on VonAllen Sports. I'm excited to be here. I'm glad to be around. How are you doing? I'm doing phenomenal.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, you've got that like just down, right? So
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's been years. I just figured I needed some sort of intro or some word salad that I can put together that sounds sexy coming off the tongue. So I figured, all right, let's throw these words that mean the same thing for the most part together. And here we are, 6.5 years later.
nice. Okay, so I'm going to get to these super chats real fast. That was up before we even started. Ryan Dyer sends a $5 super chat. He says, a topic, best tight end in the NFL. But you can also talk about other offensive positions like quarterback, wide receiver, and running back if you both agree on tight end or don't feel like it. Okay, so before we get to that, I just want to say, Adonis, thank you for joining me tonight. Everybody's really appreciated it. They're really excited about this.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, I'm glad to be here, man. I'm happy to have been selected.
So how is Adonis your name, or is it based on the actual term of someone's six pack? Is that correct? So
Oh no, it's the Adonis is the god of beauty. So what ended up
okay.
happening was I was in 4th grade and I was going to school, or I should say I was in school. I was in the hallway on the way to homeroom, and there was I can't remember the girl's name, but then she had said I smelled nice and I looked good. I had never got that duo compliment ever in my life of the two together. So I'm like, man, I'm feeling myself. I went back to class. I put my feet up on the desk, and I'll never forget. My teacher's name was Miss Esposito. She noticed my feet was on the desk, and she said, why you got your feet on the desk? I said, well, so-and-so said I looked good and I smelled good. She said, you think you're some sort of Adonis? I'm like, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
So she responded and said, well, that's the god of beauty. I said, oh, you know what? I guess I am. And my ego at the time couldn't necessarily handle, getting bestowed such a name. But then I used it as my username or my password as we were getting, acclimated with the internet during that time in the early 2000s. And then I rolled with it since. And then there was Adonis, and then Chiseled came along my sophomore year of high school when I started working out during football season. And I got so, cut up. At that point, my coach, he said, man, you're chiseled. I'm like, huh? You put the two together, Chiseled Adonis. And then here we are.
That's awesome. So I've seen recently you're trying to help your brother become chiseled, right?
Yes. I've been
Okay.
working with him, working with him in the basement, in the dungeon, trying to get him, to drop some weight.
I'll be honest with you. The first time I saw that, I was confused. I was like, is he older than you, younger than you?
Oh, he's older than me by 4 years.
4 years. Okay. So yeah, I was like, what is happening here? Because it said the unchiseled Adonis. And I was like, wait a minute. So what's happening? But yeah, that's actually really good what you're doing for him though. I mean, I know there's like supposed to be a comedy element to it and stuff, but people need to start taking their health better and, taking care of their health better. And yeah, so.
Yeah, I agree 110% because now, especially with the foods and the things are being processed, a lot of people are very, apprehensive as to what it is they're taking in. People are more knowledgeable now of what they should be consuming or things of that nature. And because of, the advent of the internet, and now most people are spending the vast majority of their day, inside of the house or scrolling on a phone. Physical activity, that's starting to dwindle down. So
yeah,
people are more overweight now than they ever been in history.
Sure.
So I think the best possible scenario is you just start with small things. You work your way towards building consistency and dedicating yourself towards not only your fitness, but also your health and your intake, what it is that you're doing. And you got to start somewhere. So with my brother, it's starting somewhere.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I completely agree. So this super chat was asking about tight ends. I don't know if they mean tight end right now in the NFL or if they mean all time. Let's just go with NFL in the NFL right now. I'm going. Okay, actually, no. I want you to go first.
Travis Kelce.
You really think it's Kelce? Okay.
Yeah. Because the only reason why I would put Kelce over Kittle
Okay.
would be because Kittle does have the blocking element that
Right.
exists there, and he's a way better blocker than Kelsey. Kelsey's an average blocker for the most part.
Very average,
But
yeah.
but Kelsey's catching ability and how dynamic he's been in that space, he will retire. In my estimate, I believe he will, if he's able to stay healthy throughout the duration of the next 5 years. He'll probably end up retiring number 2 behind Tony Gonzalez in yards. I think he will pass him up in touchdowns, and then in catches, Kelsey will probably cross the 1,000-yard mark. I should say 1,000 catches mark. But
Right.
what his career bulk from only playing one game his rookie season, and then an 800-yard season his second, and nothing but thousands since. You can't deny that. But Kittle, injuries has robbed him from being able to take that title. So if he's able to stay healthy and continue to produce the way that he produced, that Super Bowl season and prior to his injury, dealing with it over the course of the last 2 years, Kittle will be able to take that because he's the most complete tight end. But Kelsey, I can't deny what he's been able to do for over half of a decade. So I'd have to give it to Kelsey.
Does Kelsey remind you a bit of remember when Jimmy Graham was the shit, like when he was on the Saints, right?
Yeah.
And he was like a glorified wide receiver. I mean, he even wanted to be paid as a wide receiver. Remember all that junk? And
Yep.
Kelsey, not to that extent, but I mean, Kelsey kind of reminds me of that because a tight end should be a complete guy, in my opinion. Like Rob Gronkowski, of course. Where is there anything he can't do? So he's got the route running, he's got the catching, he's got the yards after the catch, he's got the blocking. He'll even block for you on extra points. Except Belichick put him out there one time. He got his arm broken. That was stupid. But the point is he can do it. That was a bad memory. But with Kelsey, the fact that he has stayed on the field, I just don't get it. Every other tight end, I mean, him, Gonzalez, they were able to stay on the field. Shannon Sharp was able to for a while, but some of these guys just can't stay healthy. Kittle is like Gronk in that sense. It's just, but that's what hurts them.
Yeah, I agree. Because if Kittle's able to just stay healthy, like right now, and a lot of times whenever people talk about best players in the NFL, they go like year by year. I always look at it from a 3 to 5 year radius. I always leave the minimum at 3 because you have to have a bulk. Anybody can have a great 2 years,
exactly,
or a great year. So you have to have the consistency that exists there. And now, like somebody like a Mark Andrews, who had a phenomenal season last year, and he's been building towards that year by year. But now he's hit his peak. It's a matter of staying there now. Darren Waller had a very good season 2 years ago. And then last year it took a step back, and thus far he's off to a terrible start this year. So somebody like Kelsey, where it doesn't matter whether it was Alex Smith or it was Patrick Mahomes, he's always had that same productivity. But I think it's more of an indictment on Andy Reid than on Kelsey, because regardless of the fact that Kelsey, he may be, very average blocker or whatever, it seems as if they haven't even worked towards developing that. They would rather run away, from where Kelsey's blocking when they're handing it off to Clyde Edwards-Helaire or whatever, rather than actually have him develop as a blocker, because they'll just bring in a secondary tight end and say, your designated role is to block. We're just going to keep Kelsey for pass catching. So it's almost like I don't want to take the blame away from him, because as a football player, period, you should want to be able to do all things. But I think Andy Reid recognizes this is his strengths. I'm not going to try to build him here. He's amongst the best of all time and actually pass catching in this realm as a tight end. So we're just going to focus on that. Yeah,
exactly. We have a super chat, $10 super chat from James Johnson, who's also a console in our membership section, which, as you guys know, is $50 a month. That's outstanding. Thank you, James. He says, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this special episode of Hold My Nuggets Studios, brought to you live by VonAllen Sports, October 2022, Wednesday night. Highlight commentary. Okay, you got to say it, man. Say it your way.
Highlight commentary.
I always found it funny how you make your voice kind of die out at the, sometimes it makes it sound that's you got your thing down, man. You got it.
I'll just be speaking and then I'll just run out of breath. I'm going to get every word out I can before I pass out, possibly.
But it ends up sounding like it was thought out, like it was, on purpose because it just works. It works good. But with the intro video, when you were getting mad about Antonio Brown winning, all right, I'll admit I was not so hard on Antonio because he was playing with Tom. And I'm a big Brady fan. We're all big Brady fans here. In fact, Tom Brady is why I started this channel. Originally, the channel was meant to be, I just got tired of people talking shit all the time. And so I said, I'm going to make a video that just kind of takes point by point, and answer those things. That's all it was meant for. It wasn't some master plan or anything. And then that came out and it started catching on, and I was like, wow, this is fun, and discovered the live show and everything else. But the point is that I kind of didn't go as hardcore on Antonio Brown as I probably should have back then. It's different when you're winning, when your guy's winning, you're okay with it. But have you seen what he's doing lately? The stuff on Twitter with Gisele and stuff.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, to see how it's all unfolding because I remember years ago, or I should say, I believe it was last year when Ryan Clark had said on national television, that Antonio Brown's just not a very good human, and I thought that was a bit harsh, to say. But my biggest frustration that I had with Antonio was just how he handled everything. It just seemed like there was a lack of accountability that existed because early in his career, there may have been problems that was happening behind the scenes, whether it was him and the Steelers defense and him and some coaches, but it was always held, particularly under wraps. But then once that Facebook Live incident happened, and then they had the news come out that he was receiving $500,000 to go live in the locker room, and he just prioritized that, which I completely understand. You want to get your money, but I don't know if they specified in their contract, well, right after the game, when the coach is speaking, whatever the case. They probably just wanted to go live, see some interactions with the players. But then he ended up catching, Mike Tomlin trying to fire his team up to get ready to play New England, who's been spanking us for years and continue to do so. So then since that was the case, right after that happened, he almost tried to dip a toe into water as it came to accountability rather than jumping all the way in. And then it ended up, spiraling into things that was even way worse, ultimately leaving Pittsburgh, going to New England, playing one game and then getting thrown off that team, going to Tampa Bay and not really changing his behavior. So my biggest problem that I had with it was it's more than just being a football player. It's just being you're a father of 5. So, and your children are on social media. They're very young and they have, cell phones to where they're able to see you acting the way that you're acting, throwing candy, penises at your child's mother and all this, but you're recording all of it. It's one thing if somebody's recording you, you're personally recording that and putting that out there. So then now getting to the point with Gisele and everything, it's just absolutely ludicrous.
I know people say this a lot and it's said from every angle, but it's true though. I remember Antonio Brown in the first half of his Steelers career. I used to talk about him like you would talk about Roddy White or Julio Jones, or Marvin Harrison, quiet guys who just do their job. Okay. I know it's hard to believe. Any of you guys out there who just started watching football the last 5 or so years, Antonio Brown used to be a quiet guy who just lined up and did his job. You never heard from him. It was crazy. Then he got hit by Vontaze Burfict, and I believe that was the turning point right there. I know it's obvious to say that, but it's got to be that, right?
I would agree. It would have to be that because his level of humility just plummeted. But although he was still performing at an incredibly high level, it just seemed as if that was the turning point in which he was like, wait a minute, I can market myself as AB more than continue to be, the blue collar Antonio Brown that I was. He just must have seen the marketability that existed over there. Like, all right, I can be more than just football. But the problem was you ended up burning every bridge that you had.
Absolutely. It's insane. And now he's, I did an episode a few weeks back when he posted that picture of him and Gisele celebrating after Tom's divorce rumors. Now he's stepped it up. He's turned it into a T-shirt, and he says all the proceeds go to fatherless children. And I'm sitting there thinking, Antonio Brown, he should be one of those rare cases where he leaves his children. Okay. I couldn't imagine this guy being a father, but I wouldn't do this to my enemies. I wouldn't do that to my enemies. I would not put someone's wife out on the internet like that, like he's doing. He's going to be the best example of CTE when he passes away. I'm telling you, there's going to be brain rot in there that is so severe. Nothing like Junior Seau. I mean, it's going to be just 10 times worse. I mean, this guy is insane. We have a $5 super chat from Ryan Dyer. He says, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Week 8 NFL commentary. Jameis already threw a pick. Oh, shit. Okay, well, that's what he does, right? Jameis, let me finish the intro before you throw an interception. Well, I mean,
it's a callback to that 2019 30 for 30 season for Jameis
30 for
Winston.
30. I mean, I was actually proud of him because I just wanted to see it happen. I was like,
yeah, me too. He was two picks short.
Yes.
And then his last pass, he threw an interception. I think he threw a pick six that game. And the last pass of that season ended on an interception. It was it was almost like you couldn't write a better script. And he led the league in passing. So it's like, what? You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You leave the team, they win the Super Bowl with Tom.
So, the lesser of two evils, or the worst of two evils, won in your case. I mean, we saw in the intro video you taking off your jersey. That I don't think that was planned. I think that was real. You were actually mad, like angry, and I've gotten that way before. I think the most angry I've ever gotten during a game on the show in front of people was the Packers Bucs NFC Championship game, because the first half went so well. Second half, Bruce Arians said, hey, we're up by a lot. Why don't we just throw it 50 yards down the field like a bunch of idiots? And I was going I had a complete meltdown on the show. I felt that's what your reaction was, because I can only imagine him playing for my team for so many years and then going and getting that. And he owes Tom Brady everything. Everything.
Absolutely.
His Hall of Fame career is going to go with a Super Bowl ring and a Super Bowl catch, a touchdown catch. As where, like you said, Calvin Johnson and Randy Moss and Terrell Owens, they don't have it. It's kind of unfair. I mean, it is, you know?
Yeah, and then now to look in hindsight of how he's treating the guy who got him onto the team. It's like this man, Tom didn't sacrifice everything to get Antonio onto the team, but he was the only guy vouching for you. And then you still operate the way that you operate now. And when you look at players like Steve Smith, players like Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson, Andre Reed, all of these guys, Andre Johnson, these guys who don't have any hardware. They're Hall of, like, a number of them are in the Hall of Fame. Some of them possibly can go to the Hall of Fame, but that lack of jewelry plays a large role. And Antonio Brown was on pace to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. When you talk about the best receiver of the 2010s, if you really look at the numbers and the performances between him and Julio Jones, he actually has Julio beat out. So he's the number one guy. And then still, because of his actions, he'll be omitted from the Hall of Fame. I'd highly doubt it's going to happen. Deion Sanders said a few weeks back, where he's like, if they let him into the Hall of Fame, it's going to be an absolute madhouse. He hasn't been back to Canton since he got inducted. He said he would personally fly there to see the ceremony.
Wow. Well, the Hall of Fame, so that's a complete mess, by the way. I started saying, like, I don't trust them. It started happening with the Terrell Owens situation. Okay. I thought the Hall of Fame was about production on the field, not rumor, innuendo, what maybe something happened or maybe something. You got to remember, with Terrell Owens, half of the locker room would say that he was a good teammate. So you're only listening to the other half, and I don't see what that's got to do with Hall of Fame. Once they started doing that and making him wait, I was like, and then they didn't make Randy Moss wait. Now, let me tell you, I love Randy Moss, okay? But if you're making Terrell wait for, what was it, 3 years? 3 years, right?
Yeah, 3 years.
Like
you have to get it on the third try.
Then Randy's got to wait 3 years. I'm sorry. But him pretending like he's pulling his butt down and mooning the Packers fans and all the things he did, no, man. Come on.
Yeah. And then to make
it,
matters worse with Randy, because the one thing you'll never get for Terrell Owens was when they suited up on Sunday, he gave 110%. Terrell never
Yep.
quit. He never once quit. Randy's on the record saying he plays when he wants to. Those years in Oakland, he quit on his teammates. But Terrell Owens, he was the consummate teammate on Sundays where he put it all on the line. Even if he wasn't getting the ball, he would block like a madman. He would. It would have drops here and there, but he was still a prolific receiver. He's gone to 5 Pro Bowls, 5,000-yard seasons with 5 different teams. So that's absolutely ludicrous for him to have to wait. And the number of people that had to wait, like I think Shannon Sharp had to wait. Chris Carter had to wait. And then the other day, Marvin Harrison wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. So you scratch your head like, wait, so what is the criteria? Because
but Calvin Johnson was.
Yeah, but Calvin Johnson was.
How?
So it's very confusing. I don't get it. I really don't get it because there's a lot of players who've made it in. Like with Terrell Davis. He had a magnificent 4-year stretch and injuries robbed him of, a prolific long career. Man. But for all intents and purposes, he had 4 good years and that was enough to get in. Somebody like Kurt Warner, he had his first 3 years with St. Louis, where it was 2 MVPs and 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 victory and a Super Bowl MVP. Then from 2003 up until 2007, he did nothing. When he finally got the call midway through the season to take over for Matt Leinart with Arizona, that back 2.5 years was spectacular for what he did with the Cardinals. But if you were to mix everything of his career together, it's only 5.5 years. If that's enough to now qualify for the Hall of Fame, have they completely changed the criteria? Because we're talking about the greatest players to have ever played. And it's supposed to be a hall of guys who aren't, you don't have to think if they would qualify or not.
Right.
Now they're starting to let anybody, I don't want to say anybody, but if Eli Manning makes it in, I'm going to have some problems.
Oh, my God. Okay, I swear to you, it has nothing to do with him being on the Giants and beating the Patriots twice. I don't do that, okay? Everyone here knows that I am a straight shooter no matter what. I don't care. I give credit when credit is due. I give Eli credit for those Super Bowls and, kind of credit for one of the MVPs because that Giants defense, somebody on the Giants defense should have got
the first one
got
should have been the Giants defense. Absolutely.
That's just wrong, okay? It's the same thing as the Patriots Rams Super Bowl in 2018. I think that should have gone to Stephon Gilmore. I think it should have been a representative of that defense. When you hold a team to 3 points, a Sean McVay team to 3 points, I'm sorry, a defensive representative, I don't care who you give it to, but it could have gone to Gilmore. But anyway, with Eli, I'm sorry, no. But his name is going to get him in. His name. That's it. It's done. And it's over at that point. It's the Hall of Very Good, like Dion said. It's the Hall of Very Good. And we have to remember that, let's say 30 years from now, when some kid walks into the Hall of Fame, when you see those busts side by side and it says Eli Manning next to Tom Brady, next to Bradshaw, next to Montana, that's an equivalent. There's no details that says, oh, Tom was this much better than Eli. No, it says that we're equals. And I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Like, how can you do this? It doesn't make any damn sense at all. And it gets me mad. I've gotten so mad about the Hall of Fame so many times. Every year it seems like I'm bitching about it. But I mean, I didn't even know you thought about that about Eli, but yeah.
Oh yeah. It's because he's a 500 quarterback. He's perfectly even, as Thanos had balanced in his career with 117 losses, 117 victories. His only playoff victories were in those 2 Super Bowl runs where you can argue the entire first run. He did have some clutch moments in the run to the Super Bowl, but his only positive drive was that last drive. And really, it was more the catch of Tyree, his ability to escape and just launching it up there. If Rodney Harrison just moves an inch, towards the left, he bats that ball down. There was a lot of different things. Asante Samuel dropped a pick.
He threw a pick. Yeah, he threw a pick.
Yeah, number of people, they had different things happen. And Plaxico Burress was wide open in the end zone against, I believe it was Dobbs. I think it was. But
Yeah, he
With
missed it.
no,
Yeah.
it was Ellis Hobbs. That's who it was.
They
But then
called the wrong defense though. They
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So then with all of that, the first Super Bowl, it should have gone to somebody on the defense, like you said. And the second run, I'll give Eli 110% because he was like 75, percent completion rate. He was
Right.
tearing, the defense up. And the pass to Manningham, you just can't get any better than that. But there's no reason why he should be able to walk those halls. And like you said, be an equivalent, because they're not going to have their records or all that other stuff. They're just going to have the names there. And the one argument that they always make for Manning is who he played against. It's almost as if we're not saying, oh man,
Right.
Eli is just this amazing player. It's like, oh no, but look who he played against. So essentially, if Tom Brady was Drew Bledsoe, are we even feeling the same way about Eli Manning? Probably not.
No.
But they're attaching Eli to Brady's legacy because that was the quarterback. But they really played against each other's defense. So I don't get it. It always frustrates me because being in New York, a native New Yorker, and always hearing Giants fans talk about Eli, he's not as great as guys make it seem. He had Hall of Fame moments. He's not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. I mean, I understand them being excited and happy about that. They've always been They've always been known as a defensive team. They've never been known for their quarterbacks, but I get that, but they have to be reasonable at the same time, and it's infuriating. We have a $2 super chat from Predator Magnus. He says, a joint game live stream between the two of you guys? Maybe sometime, maybe when that could be cool if it was Steelers versus Bucs, Steelers Patriots maybe, or something like that.
Oh well,
I think
unfortunately, both of them already happened this season.
Well, we just connected. We just connected. So yeah, it's or something else. You never know. Let's see. Addy Basorno sends a $2 super chat. By the way, Addy here is our resident Browns fan.
Oh wow, okay.
And he has taken a beating for years on here. He has sent a lot of super chats. I made the guy a special made T-shirt just to make him feel good, And we have this little gimmick where every week when something goes wrong with the Browns, we give Addy a hug, like a simulated hug here through the internet. But this guy's put up with more crap. I mean, and being in the division with you guys is brutal. So.
Oh yeah, I know. They enjoyed their Super Bowl of that playoff victory a couple of years ago. So I'm pretty sure
he loved that. Yeah. So Addy sends a $10 super chat and says, "Hold my nuggets." Actually, I think this one's for you.
Oh yeah,
So-
yeah.
So
they would like me to say the second part of it. Wow.
I think he wants you to say that. Yeah, you said that about Gronk when Gronk made that catch against the Chiefs. All right, so let's see. We have the Gord King sends a $5 super chat. He says, we often wonder what it would have been like to have Moss with Brady his whole career. But T.O., with his effort, might have been better. I absolutely agree. I was lobbying to get T.O. I didn't care about all that stuff in the locker room and everything. To be honest with you, I think Donovan McNabb is kind of a baby sometimes.
Yeah, yep,
and
absolutely.
And I always said, I think you can, if you were the Eagles, I used to say you could replace Donovan, I think, easier than you can replace Owens.
Mm-hmm.
And the fans welcomed T.O. with open arms. They loved him. And I don't know. I wanted him on the Patriots for a long time, but it just never happened. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I actually think that Belichick and McDaniels, they would have loved to have somebody like Terrell Owens there, because when you're winning, everything's always looking good. And I would highly doubt, because if I can't recall what it was that ended up leading to the departure of Moss. I don't know if it was a matter of targets or something during that 2010 season.
It was a contract.
Yeah, it was a contract sort of situation. Yeah. I don't know if Terrell Owens ever had, issues like that. Now, granted, Belichick ran ran the team with an iron fist or whatever, but I believe that Owens would have definitely bought in, because for one, he's getting the ball thrown his way. You're winning games. If he's on that perfect, season, team, I actually think that the following seasons after that, he'll recognize, like, man, we got a chance to win here, because if you look at who each of those guys' mentors was, for Moss, it was Chris Carter, but Chris Carter never won. With Terrell Owens, it was Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice got 3 of those things.
Yep.
So since that's the case, I would believe that Owens would have definitely bought in more, so I think he would have been the better, because personally between the two, I think Moss is more naturally gifted, but Terrell Owens probably the hardest working receiver right behind Jerry Rice, because he had to.
It's in a way, it's like the wide receiver version of looking at Dan Marino, who's just naturally talented, or Tom Brady, who works his butt off and makes it, like, wills it to happen. And that's what Terrell reminds me of. Owens was never supposed to be someone that big. He was never supposed to be that. And those late rounders, man, they have a chip on their shoulder.
Oh yeah.
It's just a different thing. We have a $5 super chat from Elf of Courage. He says, I want to defend my Patriots after that loss, but I have no defense. Well, neither did they. But I don't know what's going on, man. But I have to ask you, be completely honest with me, okay? Did you think the Bucs were going to come in and just beat the living shit out of you guys?
Oh, when they played against
2 weeks ago.
Well, man, with the injuries, absolutely. I thought it was going to be a situation where it would at least be by 2 touchdowns, because if I'm not mistaken, Pittsburgh was coming off of getting shellacked by the Bills.
Like
so since that was the case, I'm like, man. But the only thing was that the Bucs offense simply wasn't clicking. So because that was the case, I'm like, man, maybe we might, have a chance where Brady almost never throws any picks, to Pittsburgh regardless. But then when I saw the injuries to the secondary, Minka's not playing, and then we just missing a bunch of people, I'm like, man, it's going to be a long day. And then lo and behold, Tomlin had those guys ready, because if this is going to be Tom's last season, might as well beat him, the last time that you have a chance to play him. So I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked at how well they played on the defensive end. They really got it together. Offensively, they'll never be able to get it together until they bring in a quarterbacks coach. I think that could really be good. But defensively, I was shocked.
I had picked them to, and it wasn't against Pittsburgh. I have a lot of respect for Pittsburgh, no matter if Ben is there or not. Of course, I respect them even more with Ben, but I still thought that there would be a blowout. It would be a blowout only because of the missing defensive backs. Would you have 6 missing, and TJ Watt's not there?
Yeah, TJ Watt not being there. They were missing their top 3 corners, and then also Minka Fitzpatrick in the secondary. And then there was another lineman who was missing as well. They were missing somebody else. Like, it was like 6 starters total that was out. And somehow they were able to get it done with guys who just got elevated from the practice squad.
And you really don't even know about your quarterback situation either. I mean, you started the season with Mitch Trubisky, so it doesn't mean that there was some kind of genius plan, involved. But the thing is that they go out and the Bucs try to run the ball. Why aren't you throwing at these guys? Like, what were you doing? I just don't get it. It completely baffled me. And then I said, I was optimistic. I said, they'll turn it around. They'll turn it around against Carolina. It'll be okay. I mean, that Pittsburgh thing will wake them up, Mm-hmm. Oh, no. It got worse. So now I can't pick them anymore until they've won. I tomorrow night against the Ravens, no, I'm not doing it. I just can't. So it's infuriating. But I tell you this, at this channel, we're very quarterback heavy as far as topics and things. It's my fault. I mean, my thing, because I love the quarterback position. I have a quarterback formula that I created to kind of really, because I think the MVP, the way they do things is kind of strange. So I developed this quarterback formula, but the thing I've always said is, I don't care who your coach is. If you don't have a great quarterback, you cannot win consistently. Mm-hmm. I had picked the Steelers as the dark horse to win the Super Bowl. I think it was 2 years ago. And I said that Ben would come in on fire. He was my dark horse for MVP. And everyone was laughing, ha, ha, ha. And then he had a badass year. I think that was 2020.
When they started 11-0?
Yeah. Ben was
it might have been that year. Yeah, because the offense was atrocious.
Do you think Ben left a year too early?
No, I think he left. I think he left a year too late,
It's
actually, because
okay, so it's appropriate. You're happy with it?
yeah.
Okay.
Because I absolutely I adore Ben's game. I appreciate it because he really did have that high end talent. He really was a guy who was incredibly clutch down the stretch. But when that offensive line got depleted and then he was out for the season in 2019, that 2020 year, that defense was operating at the same kind of performance that the 2008 Super Bowl defense was operating. But for whatever reason, because Ben's arm was no longer what it was,
Right.
at the time, Randy Fichtner, who was the offensive coordinator, he just said to hell with throwing the ball vertically down the field. We're only going to dink and dunk to try to navigate, our offense. So because that became the philosophy, Ben didn't even have an opportunity to try to get the ball, vertically down the field. A few times that he would try deep balls or whatever, he would actually find somebody. And Chase Claypool had, I think, like 8 touchdowns in the rookie season and everything. But for whatever reason, they took a step away. So since that was the case, I said, man, you know what? This 2020 season, this needs to be his last hurrah, because the following year, last year, if they're not going to try to throw it down the field, now what is he still playing for? Because you can't just, all right, well, we'll wait until the final possession of the game and then we'll unleash the Roethlisberger heroics, although it would work here and there, and they were able to, his last victory in the clutch against Baltimore, but that can only last so long. At the last 2 years, really, I just wanted him to become a top 5 all-time in yards, in touchdowns, and then I think completions. But I think he just missed out passing Rivers and Marino because he retired with 416. And all he needed was 5 touchdowns to at least equal Rivers. I wanted him to be in that top 5 spot. And I think luckily he passed Eli. So I was happy that he was able to pass up Eli in all those different categories. But I'm satisfied with his career, but I just feel like he could have went out a bit better. And I think the offense did him an injustice of not allowing him to do what actually made him, great.
Okay. Yeah. That was my feeling. I've seen a lot of Steelers fans. They seem to kind of be, I don't know, thinking, oh, bring Ben back, and I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, it's just sometimes you can just see it, like with Peyton. You saw it with Drew. Drew just fell off like that, But yeah. So we're running short on time here. I just want to ask you a few questions real quick here. First, the Tom Brady thing. All right. So after every time you call a Brady involved game, you make that noise. Can you explain what the hell is that?
So many people have asked me that, because a lot of people think it's an indictment of me calling him like, oh man, he's a female dog. No, that's not the case.
It sounds like a woman moaning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because a lot of people are like, man, he does cry a lot to the referees. I'm like, well, numerous quarterbacks do that. But the reason why it happened was I was recording the commentary in 2017, and for whatever reason, while I was recording, I had coughed, sneezed, and farted at the same time. I don't know the significance of the fart, but I had coughed, sneezed, and farted at the exact same time. And my deep voice was able to make that noise. So that what ended up coming out was, I thought it would be one of those sort of situations, but so I'm like, wait a minute. And I was recording, so I heard it. I'm like, man, that's hilarious. Let me see if I can make that sound again. So, and then every time he throws the ball, whatever reason, I left it in there. The people was able to identify. I can't remember which video it was that I first did it. But when they were like, oh man, that's hilarious. I'm like, you know what? This is going to be a part of Brady every time I make the videos. And then here we are.
That thing's hilarious, man. And yes, it does come across as you taking a shot at Brady. That's how it sounds. But when you learn the significance of it, it's like, okay, it's one of those things. And I know exactly how you feel. I mean, I've had those weird moments where you say something or it doesn't work right, and then you're like, you go back and it's like, that's actually kind of funny, or that works. Greatest quarterback of all time.
Oh boy, well, I'm a Peyton Manning fan, but Tom Brady, you can't.
All
deny.
right. Interview over. Oh, come on. Come on. I'm getting out of my seat. No, okay, no, seriously.
I don't think there's been a guy who's been able to play because that his pre-snap was Nobody with the revolutionizing the game with that. It, like days of he was the offensive coordinator, but you simply can't deny Brady. I think the top 3 all time is Brady, Montana, and Manning. I think those are the 3. And then of course Marino, if he just had one championship, he'd be, in that area. But it's definitely at this it's got to be Brady. You can't deny it. You can't win 7 Super Bowls. You got 2 more than the next guy, and he played defense. You got 3 more than the next quarterback. So you can't deny it. And all of those, playoff games or what, he's willed his team, and he's been a 6th-round pick number 199. He may not have been the greatest athlete.
You didn't say it right.
The best arm. He can't run the fastest, but my God, he's got a will that's stronger than anybody else. And you got to accept greatness.
Yeah, I agree with you. Where do you put? Do you feel like Bradshaw doesn't get enough love?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think he does get enough love because of the era that he played in. So, and on top of that, with his numbers, like Joe Namath doesn't get enough love. Fran Tarkenton doesn't get enough love. A lot of those, Jim Kelly, they don't get enough love. But with Bradshaw, the thing with him was he came up clutch in big moments, but he played on a team with a defense with 5 Hall of Famers that arguably should be 6. And then on offense, you had Franco Harris back there. You had Mike Webster snapping you the football. You had Lynn Swann and John Stallworth catching the ball. So with Bradshaw, they'll look at the numbers like, oh, man, this guy's not, maybe he's not as good as we thought he was. I think it's like 212 touchdowns to 212 interceptions or something like that. But Bradshaw, he doesn't get enough love because, man, they just look at that defense and they think he just got carried. But he was an MVP. He was a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. He was no slouch.
And a regular season MVP. He's got 1 or 2, right?
Yeah, he's got one. The same year, I think it was in 78. And that Super Bowl 13, I always implore anybody, if you want to go back and watch some classic Super Bowl 13 between the Cowboys and Steelers, that was a godsend. I can't stop watching that game. Unfortunately for Jackie Smith, he should have caught the football. Dallas could have probably won the Super Bowl, but that's a conversation for a different day.
Yeah, I agree with you. The thing is that people always want to point that out when it comes to Bradshaw. The thing is that there have been a lot of quarterbacks in this league that have had great defenses, played with Hall of Famers. They don't have 4 rings, okay?
Yep.
And every time Montana's mentioned it's always Montana Brady. When Montana's brought up, they say, oh, well, Montana's got 4. And Bradshaw's never mentioned.
Yeah.
Even Dan Patrick didn't make that mistake. I called Dan Patrick. I did a video on that because I said, he goes, he was talking to Joe. And he said, so Joe, it must be really cool before Tom got 4, you being the only guy with 4. And he goes, you were the first player to ever get 4, the first quarterback to get 4. And Joe didn't even correct him. I was just like, wait a minute.
It's like everybody forgets that Bradshaw has 4, and I think maybe because, and he's on television every week, so
you're reminded.
He's on television every week, but I think it's because he doesn't necessarily have the publicity. If there was social media around in the 70s, Bradshaw, he was already able to market himself as the blonde bomber, all this other stuff, and he's on television now. He had a reality show with his daughters and everything, but I think they just overlook it because of when you think of the Steelers of the 70s, you think of the defense first. But, man, he doesn't get the respect that he deserves. And unfortunately, it probably won't happen until he passes, when people end up looking like, wait a minute, they put out a tribute video or all the statistics like, whoa, he was doing that. I didn't know he had 4 Super Bowls for. Like, it's gonna be crazy because people, they usually overlook that. Like, I think that'll happen with Brett Favre, although he's in the media for the wrong reasons now. But with Brett Favre, people look at the interceptions and like, man, Brett isn't as good. Look at all those picks. But if you watched his games in the 90s, I always tell people, go back and watch games. Favre was almost like Namath, but to a whole different level, because that 95 until 2000, Favre wasn't even supposed to be the best quarterback of the 90s or whatever. That would have easily been Elway or Marino. Favre put together a 5-year stretch that had the likes of nobody ever seen in NFL history. Hence why he won 3 straight MVPs. So that dude there, he was a god for the Packers. And then tail end, it was just chasing the dragon. That's the only reason why he kept having all those interceptions. But
Oh
It
man,
happened.
he broke my heart in '96. Man, I was in high school, and
Oh,
we all got together at my friend's or his house for a Super Bowl party and
hmm.
everything. And then to watch Brett take off his helmet and run down the
Yep.
field, I just oh man, it was
Yeah,
just
after
so
he hit
pissed me
Ryzen
off.
and he's running off, he's jumping in people's arms, and you got to watch Reggie White run around with the trophy that you were hoping you'd have in your hands. Brutal, absolutely brutal.
That
But
was going to
luckily
be the
enough, he was able
first
to
one.
celebrate six.
I
He
mean,
was
I
able to
mean
celebrate.
that was only the second time to ever see Patriots in the Super Bowl. The first time was
Yep.
I was
The
5,
Bears.
and yeah, it was the Bears, and it was a complete and absolute destruction.
Hmm.
And God dang! But who do you think's going to get the 7th Super Bowl first? The Steelers or the Patriots? Because they
Boy,
both suck.
oh man. Yeah, they're both in a bad way. Now, the only thing is, I look at it like Tomlin has more time at the helm than
Yeah.
Belichick does, because I think once Belichick patches up Shula, he'll consider retirement. And that'll probably happen within the next 3 seasons, because I think he's 24 games away.
Yeah,
So
he's gonna
yeah, so
because they're not Tom's not there to give him a 14-2 season or
yeah.
whatever.
So
So
and then now
yeah.
with Belichick's, made crazy decision with taking Tom to start over Bledsoe. Well, obviously Bledsoe got hurt or whatever, but now when Mac Jones and Zappy having 2 games and people are cheering to him to take over the helm way too prematurely. But I think it'll probably take about 3 years for him to get there. But I think of the two franchises, I actually believe Pittsburgh might have a chance, because that defensive core, Cameron Hayward's it's double digit in seasons now, so there's only so many more years that he has. But TJ Watt still being young, Minka Fitzpatrick being young,
Yep.
Devin Bush needs some work. But they have a possibility to build that defensive core that can be around for years. And then on offense, they're incredibly young. Somebody like a Najee Harris, he's in his 2nd year. Deontay Johnson's in his 4th year. Chase Claypool's in his 3rd year. Freiermuth is in his 2nd year. All they really need to do is just retool that offensive line. And if they can get Pickett to perform at a higher level, that team can become, a very special team, because they showed the statistic on Sunday night, where in one possession games since 2016, they're 42, now 21-2. So in the crunch time, Pittsburgh has found a way. The only downside is they shoot themselves in the foot the other half of the time. So if they can just quell that, I think Pittsburgh has a chance to, show up and show out. But for the New England, they're not too far behind either. But if I had to say between the two, Pittsburgh can slightly edge out New England. Then it's just a matter of, who's going to follow Belichick. So there is that. I'd say Pittsburgh.
Or Dallas all of a sudden goes on a run and screws us over and gets
Yeah, that'd be brutal.
and
They get
gets to
2.
7. Yeah, I mean, you just never know. With this year, we're in the twilight zone anyway, so why not? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, or
nothing makes
maybe
any
even
sense.
the Niners go on, like, get a dynasty sort of situation.
That's true. Yeah, they've got 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then even the
so
Giants, I think of all the teams that have the most Super Bowls, the Packers have 4. The Packers have
Giants
4.
4.
49ers have 4. Giants have 4. No, 49ers have 5.
They have 5.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, Dallas has 5. And then Pittsburgh and New England both have 6. So
but I don't
who
trust
knows?
49ers coaching. I think Kyle Shanahan with that roster, and he's not been able to win a Lombardi yet. I don't know. He's just
Yeah.
whatever.
So
I mean,
who knows? If they're able to stay healthy this year, they definitely have the roster to do so. Now having Christian McCaffrey, if he stays healthy, because I think he's amongst the more complete backs in the league. So if they can stay healthy, they can make that happen. But now in the NFC, I mean, hell, today the Eagles just added Robert Quinn, who had 18 and a half sacks. Last year 102 sacks overall. He's part of that hellacious sack, master 2011 draft class. So who knows? That NFC is going to be quite competitive to see who comes out of there. But hopefully it's between one of our two teams that messes around and gets that 7th Lombardi first.
well, in my opinion, TJ Watt's the best defensive player in the league. Not Aaron Donald. Yeah, I'm not a big fan, but yeah, I think TJ Watt is the best defensive player in the league right now. It's just I wish he was playing because I love watching him play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go, but I just want to tell you I appreciate your election video from 2016.
Yes.
Do you remember doing that?
Yes.
Okay, that what you said and how you put it, that there wasn't a lot of sense being made back then,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want to tell you I appreciate that. That was awesome what you did there.
Thank you, because I think a lot of times people get way too caught up in choosing a side and forgetting that we're all one America. So
Yep.
whether how you feel about, one party or you feel about one candidate, whatever the case is, at the end of the day, whoever wins wins. So that person wins, cool. Now how can we come together to make a better America? Rather than sit here and turn into a shouting match. Because if one side loses, it's not, oh man, America lose. No, we're still going to have to move forward. Tomorrow doesn't happen because, the person that you agree with didn't win. So we've
Right.
got to figure out a way to make the best possible, unified front to attack tomorrow. So too often people are getting way too caught up in, well, my side and my side. No, well, we got this president for 4 years. Let's make it work.
Yes,
And then
exactly.
after
Yes.
4 years is over, we can see where we go with that. But then since we're here now, rather than try to, tear everybody down, work together, make things work, and then ultimately, when the time comes to make that change happen, you can go to the polls and then vote.
Exactly. And I've always said football and sports is a great uniter as well. You can
Yep.
be at a game and some guy next to you, he could be the opposite political party, opposite race, opposite sexual preference, whatever. I don't care what it is. And you're going to high five because your team scored a touchdown.
Yep.
And
110%.
it's crazy how that happens, But yeah, that's one thing I love about sports. But Adonis, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we can do this again soon. Okay?
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you and your audience as well. And
Thank you.
I'm sure it's going to continue to be an amazing show, and I can't wait to be back.
All right. Thanks a lot, man. You have a good night.
You as well. Take care.
Good night. So, guys, make sure to subscribe at the Chiseled Adonis. The link to his channel is in the description. Also, I put in the description links to all of the Adonis videos that I referenced to. So whether it was in the intro or something that maybe we have mentioned, I put links there because I kind of knew what I was going to mention in this one. So you can watch those after the show is done. But yeah, make sure to go like and subscribe his videos. And I really appreciate him doing that. That was really cool of him. We've actually never met before until today. I mean, we corresponded on the internet, but it wasn't until today that we've actually spoke. So we spoke a little bit before the show started. But yeah, that was really, really awesome for him to do that. Yeah, thank you, Adonis. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, that was fun. So yeah, Devotee, planning to make collaborations with their channels. Well, yeah, but it's not easy. A lot of YouTubers either don't want, they don't reach out really, or they have their own little group of guys that they only work with and kind of stroke each other and circle jerk each other and stuff like that. There's a few of those. I knew Adonis wasn't like that. I'm a pretty good judge of character. I was watching his videos and I could tell that he wasn't that type. So yeah, he's not one of those where it's just about, oh, no, I can't do that. And stand up dude, actually. Very, very cool. John Thomas Chavez sends a $2 super chat. He says, more collaborations with Adonis. That was awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Adi Visorno sends a $2 super chat. He says, can't go wrong with the collab with Adonis, my guy. Absolutely. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, and it's good for different indie YouTubers, to get together and collaborate like that. And you merge it and other people get introduced to different things. I think it's really cool. Elf of Courage sends a $5 super chat. He says, could you have Drew Bledsoe as a guest on a live stream? Oh my God. Milena? Okay. Well, we've been working on this. I swear to God, we've been working on this. We have been trying to get this done. Okay. Not just Drew Bledsoe, but we've been trying to get Warren Moon. The difficulty is getting to them and then getting the the agreement to do that. And it's just, there's a lot of stuff involved. Their time is always requested. I mean, all the time. And sometimes they say yes, sometimes they don't. Like you guys know, I've interviewed NFL players in the past. So it's just about the right time and getting them at the right moment. Let's see here. But Warren Moon would be a dream come true for me. I mean, you guys know, growing up, he was my favorite player. So that would be amazing. Let's see, James. $2 super chat from James Johnson. He says, Chiseled Adonis, always welcome. Absolutely, my friend. Thank you so much. Milena, did I miss anything?
So, Elf of Courage sent some super stickers earlier, including good job. That was his first one, $4.99. And another one, that was a long time ago.
Okay, I think I got all the super stickers. The problem is that a lot of times the super stickers don't pump up correctly. So what people see in the chat, it doesn't show it on the screen. So it reads it out for some reason. I don't know why it does that, but yeah, so. All right, guys. So, who do you guys got tomorrow night for the Ravens and Bucs? Now, I'm telling you, I'm afraid to pick the Bucs for anything. In fact, they're going to have to prove to me that they can win something. I don't trust them anymore. So, Steelers 2 weeks ago, with the Steelers being in the situation they were in that week, with all those guys out, you should have been able to win that one. But the Steelers played out of their mind. It looked like they played as a team, okay? The Bucs are playing as individuals. And the only thing the Bucs do as a team is they all equally suck. They're all equally making mistakes. They're all equally dysfunctional. And that's really the only thing they do as a group. Other than that, I don't trust them. You can count on that, basically. Until they fix that, no. Sorry. They couldn't put up more than 3 points against Carolina. I'm not saying Carolina is just the worst team ever, but come on. There's some times where a team is favored over another, and you've got to be able to get this done. You've got to be able to do something with teams like this. And I know it's the NFL and all that stuff, but come on. This has been going like this all year long. So to me, it doesn't seem like it's about the opponent as much as it is about them. In this case. So, also, I want to mention something. I watched the interview with Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show. And I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but he talked some junk about the Packers fans, or not all of the Packers fans. He just said the ones that are all like, bitchy and whiny about the situation they're in, whatever you want to call it. But it was kind of funny to watch him be so blunt. But what he did say, one thing that really opened my eyes real quick was like, he said that when the players start taking over more than the coaches, that's when they'll start winning. And that is so my sentiment right now. I mean, that is exactly how I feel. I've always been telling you guys, the coaches are trying to live vicariously through the quarterbacks. They're trying to pretend like they're on the field, and it's really creepy. It's like those parents who want to live the life they wanted to live through their child, and they're like pressing it through, and it's really strange and creepy. But a lot of these coaches are doing that, and it's weird. And he's basically saying that Matt LaFleur is doing that, and we know he's one of those type. We know that it's a whole Shanahan McVay mentality. But yeah, it's just interesting to see Aaron so blunt about that. That was pretty cool. So that's As his personality seems to be crossing the border from complete douchebag to kind of a cool dude. Like there's like a transition that's happened. And I can get on board with this Aaron a lot more than I can a few years ago. It's just, this is a different version of him. So, but I don't put the Green Bay Packers or the Bucs in their graves yet. Neither quarterback is going to allow this to happen. They can't. They just can't. I see things picking up for both. Would I prefer that Tom was traded to, the 49ers or the Dallas Cowboys or something like that? I think that's probably a good thing, a good change for him. I think Tampa Bay, he's been there for a while. But the thing is that that's where his divorce is happening. That's where the chaos is happening. And sometimes you need to get out of that city. You need to get away from all that and a fresh start. And I don't know. I'm not saying, I know the trade's not going to happen. Okay. So don't sit there and say, oh, Aaron, you were wrong. He didn't get traded. No, I know he's not getting traded. This is just me saying, I wish that would be cool if that happened, but yeah, it's not going to, but it would be something, and it would be interesting. But, I've never been a fan of the Packers' new coaching staff. You guys know that. I've always made fun of Matt LaFleur. I made fun of him when he was the Titans' offensive coordinator too. I don't like these young guys, and not because they're young, but because they're arrogant and cocky, and they think they know everything, and they think they know more than the quarterback does. It's very, very annoying and very obnoxious, and it just gets on my nerves. So, where do I think Brady will go next year? D. Bateman asked me. Well, I can tell you for sure it's not going to be Tampa. But I'll tell you what, I would have to look really hard. I would have to look at every team's quarterback situation and each quarterback's contract situation to kind of match up where I think he would fit salary cap wise and stuff. So I'll make you a deal, man. I will give you a more precise answer on the Halloween show on Saturday. Okay? So me and Millen are having a special Saturday afternoon show to get ready for Sunday, and I will answer that question. So D. Bateman, make sure you're here on Saturday, and I will answer that. Of course, this is if he does come back, but I think he will. In fact, how about this? If he's staying married to Giselle, then no, he's not coming back. If he's getting separated from her and for real, and that really happens, he will be back. So there you go. Now where he would go, so let's assume in this scenario that he does come back. I'll have an answer for you. So you just got dumped. Well, that sucks. Sorry, man. Apparently Brady's getting dumped too. So you're in good company, at least. So yeah, the thing about the Packers, random Patriots fan, is that they have one thing going for them. Between them and the Bucs, they beat the Bucs, so they've at least got that. So if you're a Packers fan, you could probably hang your hat on that one, as far as, because people keep comparing the two. Why do they keep comparing the two? Because they're underachieving. Everyone expected them to both be NFC Championship favorites or possibly there at the end. That's what we expect of guys like Aaron and Tom. So everyone's comparing the two. Same record. They're both 3-4. But the point is that actually Green Bay has the tiebreaker on that. But I don't expect either of them to completely suck. I think if one team can get out of this faster and end better and end stronger, it's probably Tampa, only because much better roster. They don't have a player problem in general. Yes, they have some injury problems here and there, but they don't have a overall just player-to-player problem like Green Bay does. So Tampa just has the players. They just need them to wake up and do their job and work together as a team. They do that, and it's smooth sailing. That was not a Heil, by the way. I meant go like that. And my cane just fell. Okay. Yeah. I just knocked it over, so it's fine. Yeah. Well, they would have. Yeah, they would have the tiebreaker if Tampa wins the division, which is sad right now that they're tied for number one. Actually, they're in the league because they're tied with they beat the Falcons. But if Green Bay doesn't win their division, that would be the way they have the tiebreaker. But as far as the playoffs go, but as far as comparing the two right now, like who sucks worse, well, Green Bay can say, "Ha, we beat you," and that's kind of what I mean as far as that goes. But yeah, Minnesota, they keep going, but how long can you trust that? So, although I'm impressed, it's kind of cool to see Kirk Cousins leading a good team, with a good record for once. He's taken a lot of crap over the years, so. Brady's distracted, but it has nothing to do with age. That's the thing about this age thing. If you didn't know his age, you wouldn't say that. You wouldn't know that. And what I mean by that is that if you didn't know his age, you wouldn't be seeing what you think you're seeing. And this kind of happened in 2019 when everyone said, oh, it's his age. He can't play anymore, and we were here saying that's nonsense. I can see the problem. The problem is the team's lack of focus, lack of weapons on the offense. They couldn't get anything. They just couldn't get on the same page for anything. Edelman was hurt. He was playing all year with busted up ribs. It was just a mess. And it wasn't a physical thing with Brady. But everyone said, oh, it's his age. It's his age. Well, I've seen Brady have worse seasons when he was in his 20s. Even right now, to this day, Tom has the ability. He's a better quarterback than he was when he was young. So I don't understand why where the age comes in. The age would only matter if he can't throw the ball anymore, if he can't get around. He's more mobile than he was 15 years ago. He throws the ball so well. I mean, you got to watch some of those throws, but people aren't paying attention to it because the team is not winning a lot of games. So it's kind of getting overlooked. But yeah. It's not like Ben Roethlisberger, like Adonis was saying earlier, where Ben Roethlisberger was a shell of himself. And you had some Steelers fans that were saying, oh, bring back Ben and all that. And it's like they have short memories. They don't remember that he couldn't throw the ball anymore. Drew Brees couldn't throw the ball anymore. Peyton Manning couldn't throw anymore. Tom is not one of those cases. Tom very much is still throwing very well. And a lot of that is attributed to Tom's form, the way he throws. He doesn't put all the stress on his shoulder, all the stress in one place. And you guys probably saw a Brady Hate episode I did where we examined his throwing motion and how it works. And that has helped him along. And that's something that I fear for guys like Patrick Mahomes. It's all upper body with Patrick, all of it. And that's awesome. He should use that. That's his thing. But eventually that's going to catch up to him. And when, we don't know. But he's going to start to develop shoulder problems, rotator cuff issues, things like that. And that he'll have to adjust to a new form and a new way of throwing. And Tom adjusted that a long time ago. So he hasn't had the wear and tear in just one spot like a lot of quarterbacks have. John Thomas Chavez sends a $5 super chat and says, fools see with their egos, but also aren't completely blind. They know their struggles won't last and laugh now before the jokes turn back to excuses. Yeah, that's exactly right, man. Well said. So yeah, those other guys, we knew they were done. We watched them. Just fall off, and it sucks. But at least, see, I don't think it's that bad for the player to do that, actually. I think in some ways there's a comfort in going away and leaving the game knowing that you gave everything, knowing that I wouldn't want to sit the rest of my life, in bed laying there thinking, could I have done more? Could I have given it one more year? Could I have played a little extra? I think that would drive me nuts, and Ben, Drew, Peyton, those guys, they don't have that problem. They know that was it. And I think Brady doesn't want to have to live with wondering what if. So now I do believe that he will go away before we see a drop off like we saw from the other guys, because I don't think Tom's going to have that. I think Tom will feel it, and I think he'll know it. He'll know it's coming. So I just don't think we're going to visually have one of those years where we can go back and go, oh God, look at this. Look at this garbage he's putting on tape, like what Peyton did. I mean, even though Peyton went out with a Super Bowl, come on, go back and watch that season. And also, Brock Osweiler was better than him overall. But what did Peyton bring? He brought the leadership, and he brought it together, and he got done what he had to do in the moments that it was required. But he knows it was over for him. So Andrew Luck's different. Andrew Luck could have played a lot longer. He just chose. He was mentally done. He was mentally done. What the Colts did was so egregious and so pathetic that they made him hate the game. That's what happened. He hates the game as far as the way that was done. And it scarred him. It's like someone being traumatized, by something. And it gave him like a very, very, I say this kind of jokingly, but a form of PTSD where he doesn't want to think about it. And it took his taste for football away and took away his passion for football. And that sucks. But Andrew Luck could have played a lot longer. He could have, what Andrew Luck, in my opinion, let's say that he didn't hate football and didn't want to just get out of it, and it was just a physical thing, he should have taken a year off, maybe gone to a different team, or if he could have, or found a way or whatever, or maybe come back to the Colts after they got a new regime change, because that regime that was there with him, they're the ones that screwed him over. But I think he could have come back and he'd still be playing right now. So that it's unfortunate, it's unfortunate what he could have accomplished. I really liked Andrew. I wasn't a Colts fan. I don't like the Colts that much because I don't like their owner, but I liked Andrew Luck. I like great players. And in fact, it was Andrew Luck's retirement, his shocking retirement. You guys all remember that led to my first live show. And I didn't even know how to do this live. I just clicked on the button and went live immediately because I had to get it out. I had to talk about it, because it was just so shocking. It was like, wow, So, but I honestly thought he would be done. Like he was just going to bow out for a year, get rested, get better, heal up, get his mind right. And then I thought he would return. And he has stayed away, like he said. And okay, if that's what he wants, there you go. That was a great super chat, John. Appreciate it. Consul James Johnson sends a $5 super chat. He says, why does Brady still listen to Leftwich? Oh my God. So who is Leftwich to tell Brady the GOAT what to do? Brady needs to take over the offense and run it himself. Absolutely, James. Thank you so much. You know what? That's funny you say that because I have this right here. This is what Byron Leftwich should be doing right now. He should be saying, would you like fries with that? Would you like to upgrade supersize your order? Would you like a Big Mac meal? What would you like, sir? Do you want to, oh, sorry, our ice cream machine is closed for the evening. It's broken. Okay? That's the only play calls Byron Leftwich should be running right now. This guy, I mean, guys, I'm getting to where I hate him more than Bruce Arians, right? So I can't stand him. I can't stand him. And Todd Bowles needs to do something about this. So, and speaking of Todd, he needs to focus more on the defense, man, and get better play out of those guys. But back to the offense with Byron Leftwich, man, why isn't Tom just taking it upon himself? Just say, yeah, I got this. Just do 2 minute the whole time, the whole game. Just forget it. Do like 2011. Okay, just move the ball, boom, 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 fast down the field, and let Tom be making the decisions off the cuff. Just feeling his way down the field, and that's what he should be doing. And this huddling, constantly trying to wait for a call from this guy, like he's making the wrong calls, and these play schemes are stupid. You want to run it when you should be passing. You want to pass it when you should be running. The basics, the fundamentals are not there. The fundamentals are gone in this. It's really infuriating. Now, like I told you guys, I can handle losing. I cannot handle stupid football. I can't stand it. It's disgusting. Makes me mad. I hate it when I'm seeing other teams, some teams I don't even like, and I watch them make mistakes. I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, it just bugs me. It drives me nuts. Can't stand it. So, yep. I can't stand them, I used to be okay with him, but now I know that he's so heavily involved, and Bruce was involved quite a bit before, so Bruce took a lot of my anger, but now it's him. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get off here. Again, I want to thank the Chiseled Adonis for joining us. I thought that was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate him doing that. Let's see here. Yeah, Bruce Arians is Mr. He does. Now, what we're going to do is if we bring Bruce back, let's bring Bruce back as head coach, and we will just promise him KFC constantly. And I think that will make him happy. That will do the deed. Let's see. Okay, we got one more. James Johnson sends a $2 super chat, and he says, if Peyton Manning could do it, why can't Tom Brady? Exactly. The thing is, Tom can do it. The difference here, James, the difference is, and this is not a knock against Peyton at all, this is actually maybe something that Tom needs to adopt. Peyton Manning, when it came to football, was an asshole. All right? I'm just going to say it. When it comes to football, he's an asshole. And what I mean by that is it was his way. When he walked in, he said, this is what we're doing. There's nothing you're going to do or say about it. I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if you get mad. Whatever. Fine. But this is how it is. He didn't mind pissing people off. He didn't mind talking about this stuff. So he was much less tactful than Tom. Tom is a different animal. Tom is more team-minded, and that's what we love about him. And he never wants to throw someone under the bus, and he never wants to screw somebody over. So he doesn't want to get Byron fired, and he doesn't want to take away Byron's job, And Tom is, in a way, in a football sense, just too nice. That's the difference between him and Peyton right there, is that Peyton just said, this is what I'm doing, and too bad. I don't see Tom doing that. The thing is, Tom needs to do that. He needs to say that. He needs to say, this is how we're doing it. I'm fed up. I wish he would. But as far as the ability to do it, Tom can do it. I mean, we've seen him do it. We've seen him do it 1,000 times. I mean, that's a lot of quarterbacks can do that. That's not, yeah. So I agree with you, James. It's just, it's not the ability to do it or wanting to do it. It's the not having that part of you that is willing to screw over the other guy and dump another guy and say, I'm taking over your job. You're out. And Peyton had that side to him. A lot of times that could have cost them games, though, and playoff games. So we could probably explore that on another night, but of why that would be. But Tom's team mentality, team first, and everybody works together, that led to 7 Super Bowls. So it's a good thing. But now, with how bad things are for him in Tampa, we need to see some selfishness on Tom's part. And I just don't know if we're going to see that. I wish we could, though. All right. Last super chat of the night. James Johnson says a $2 super chat and says, thank you, Chiseled Adonis. Great show. Let's go. Thank you so much, James. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys being here tonight. Remember, Saturday night, special Halloween show for you guys. It's going to be awesome. And right after that, we're having a Halloween party here. So it's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see you guys. And we're going to talk about week 8 and get ready. Tomorrow night, I might do a post game. I might do that. So if that happens, just look into the community comment section and I will let you guys know immediately. I most likely will, but I don't want to promise it right now. But for sure, Saturday night at our regular time. So thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome for being here. And I will see you guys soon.
Flag on the play if you're not subscribed to VonAllen Sports. But once you are, we'll make it up to your team in the fourth quarter. You're watching VonAllen Sports, real and honest NFL analysis. Subscribe now and join the empire. VonAllen Sports, let's go.
VonAllen Sports.